Hello and welcome to another Yesterday's Airlines exclusive video. In this video we are going to be talking about Aviation 400, but not just Aviation 400's current molds. We're going to be talking about their latest mold, and I have exclusive photos of that new mold which I'm going to share with you on this video. So Aviation 400, they may not be a manufacturer in 400 scale that you're particularly aware of. You really ought to be. They are producing exceptional wide-body airliners in 400 scale. The models you can see here are all Aviation 400 releases. We've got an A350 at the front, we've got a 777 at the back left, and there's an A330 on the right. So they've already got some great molds here. They've clearly got the best A350 which has been made in this scale, and not only is the mold great, but the thing that AV400 are becoming well known for are the beacon lights, which are on all their models. As you can just about see here, they are little bits of raised plastic, red, so you can see through. They look like the beacon lights on the aircraft. They appear on the top, they appear on the bottom, and it's just part of the exceptional detail which AV400 are putting into their models, which are generally awesome, like the A350, much better than anything you're going to get from Phoenix, and on par with the JC Wings mold. Actually, I prefer it. The same goes for the 777 over here, which is a new mold of theirs, their previous newest mold. It's excellent. You've got the moving gear as you'd expect. You've got the beacon lights as you'd expect from an AV400 model. You've got wonderful printing detail. These are really, really good models, and I've reviewed a couple of these already on the site, so check out the videos for my reviews of the AV400, 777 and A350. Now also, AV400 have recently been pretty well known for producing A330s, but not just passenger versions like this one here, but also the military versions, and they were in fact the first to market with the MRTT tanker variants with all the little additions and add-ons, and they look spectacular. Again, check out my review of the Royal Australian Air Force example on the channel here. So AV400 are an up-and-coming brand. They're producing really, really impressive models, and they've been about since about late 2017, and now it's 2020. They're really beginning to increase the number of molds they have and the number of releases. Previously, they used to produce a lot of Chinese airliners. Nowadays, they're putting out a decent number of European and other world airliners, like this Fiji A350, which is a release from a few months ago now. So what have Aviation 400 got in store for us in 2020? Well, not content with already having these three families, plus the A340, which they also have, they are now branching out into new wide-body molds, and the first chunk of those are going to be the Boeing 787, not just the 787-9, but also the 8 and the 10. So AV400 will be producing new 787 molds in 400 scale this year. They are already quite a long way through their development, and in this video I'm going to share with you the photos of those. So here it is. This is the new Boeing 787-9 mold sample that has been produced by Aviation 400. It is the first alloy sample that they have made. This is the 787-9, but there will be 787-8s and 10s coming, so keep tuned for those. You can see the mold's already looking pretty good. Aviation 400 have sent me a variety of photos, and we'll have a look through those. But they haven't just sent me photos, they've also sent me a short video clip which gives you some idea of the detail and intricacy required to create modern 400 scale molds. So this is just a short 15-second clip showing you some of the development of the mold using the software that it takes nowadays to make really accurate 400 scale molds. Check it out.
Feel the beat that will make you move, and then dump. Feel the beat that will make you move, and then dump. Feel the beat that will make you move, and then dump. Feel the beat that will make you move.
So as you can see, it's a complicated business nowadays making 400 scale molds, and you can see the complexity and detail that Aviation 400 are aiming for when they're producing the molds, the level of detail on the bottom of the frame and on the wings and adding the beacon lights. It's really impressive stuff. So now if I move across to actually look at some of the photos that we've been sent, the first thing I should say is that this sample is just resting on its undercarriage, so don't take the height of the landing gear to be accurate. It's just sitting on it. It is not fully in place. But as you can see, and as I'm sure you all know, the 787 has a really unique nose profile, which is quite blunt and quite interesting and very different to previous Boeing aircraft. And I think that the new Aviation 400 sample here captures that nose really, really nicely. And if you're actually looking at the nose gear itself, again, ignore the height, but if you're looking at the detail of the gear, then I think that the the nose gear, on this mold is also looking really nicely detailed. So I think, you know, the first look at the front of the aircraft and the nose gear is quite impressive. And I'm sure when the nose gear is put into place, it'll be, you know, at the right kind of height. Okay, moving on to the rest of the fuselage, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. The wing fairing and joining to the main fuselage looks really good, much better than on the Phoenix. And the general shape of the tail planes and the horizontal stabilizers and the tail cone also are looking, you know, really nice. Now, one of the things also that Aviation 400 are keen to do on this model is to make the engines a bit more realistic. One of the things they've told me is that they don't think the serrations on the back of the engines on all the molds are accurate, and they're really aiming to do that. Also, they're going to have the main undercarriage moving up and down like it does on all of their other existing molds, so it swivels and pivots. Which is something which most of the existing 787 molds don't have. So that's another thing they're adding in. But you can see that the engines from the front look really, really detailed. I'm pretty sure these are going to have spinning fan blades, though I'm not 100% certain. But either way, you can see they're going to be see-through engines, and they look really, really good. And from different angles, you know, the model's looking, you know, really very impressive. So I think Aviation 400 are onto a winner here. If you like 787s, this is going to add a really good option to the market, which is already, you know, supplied with some really nice molds, but it should mean that you can concentrate very much on getting the best quality molds, be they from NG Models, JC Wings, or Aviation 400, and you can probably consign your purchases of Gemini 787s and Phoenix 787s to history, because these new molds really do look much nicer. Okay, so looking at other features of the mold, if we flip it over onto its belly, then you can see that it looks like it's going to be a really nice example of a 787 from the underneath. It's got the long, large central bar which sits under the mid fuselage there, which is often missing. In fact, is always missing on the Phoenix mold. It's got a lot of other detail marks that look really good and match very closely to the real thing. So I think on the underside is also a winner. Now, if I've got to criticise this mould at all, and then there possibly are a couple of criticisms. I'm not 100% sold on the rudder. The 787 has a very tall rudder, but I do think that perhaps just at the top here, it's not entirely correct. As you can see from this photo, it should indent slightly so the rudder can hang. It's got the attachment point, and that seems to be missing on the mould. Also, it's possible that the wing height is a little too flexed, much like on the Phoenix mold. I can't really tell though, and think it may be just the angle of the photos here. So yeah, this mold is still under development. They're still making changes to it as we speak. So you'd expect these changes to be made as the mold is developed. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed this sneak preview, exclusive to yesterday's airlines, of the new Aviation 400 Boeing 787 molds, which I imagine are going to hit the market sometime in the mid-year. They're looking really good. Aviation 400 is definitely one of the manufacturers to be keeping an eye on. And obviously, I've got an inside track on their releases. So keep watching yesterday's airlines. Subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Follow me on Instagram at YesterdayAirlines and on Facebook. Check out the website for all the latest news about 400 scales. Find out who's got the best molds, what's going on. Thanks very much, guys. See you later.
Feel the beat that will make you move and then